welcome back to Susan Dawn at Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union energy update. We are going to get right into it tonight. It is a full moon tonight. We have the full moon in Sagittarius. We're doing kind of a late night reading. So you can always take this whenever it resonates for you. All of my readings are meant to be timeless. However, these energy readings, especially lately, are piggybacking off of each other. So if you're new here, or if you haven't been here in a while, or if you just want to catch up, I would really suggest checking out the past couple of weeks, maybe even the past couple of months of energy readings, Sacred Union energy updates, because these energies, these readings really are piggybacking off of each other. We did a deep dive earlier in the week with regards to consciousness shifts and sacred embodiment, and that is what the masculine and the feminine are experiencing now. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a little bit more of a traditional Sacred Union energy update that we do on the channel. What's going on with the masculine, what's going on with the feminine, what's going on with the union energies, yes, but we're going to use the tarot and see, kind of drill down a little bit, drill down a couple of layers and see how are they feeling about the connection, how are they feeling maybe even about their ascension journey, how are they feeling about each other, and any messages that they have to say. Now, do remember to take these readings as it resonates for you, for your inner masculine and feminine. Remember, you have both energies within you, and this ascension journey, the Sacred Union path of ascension, is truly all about the inner union, the balance of the polarities. You can also take this as a reading for your masculine or your feminine counterpart, to kind of have more compassion for where they are on the journey, or understand where they are on the journey. It's not information. I always say to my clients, it's information for you to be aware of so that you can hold the space, have compassion, so that you can see the reflection for yourself and for your life. It's not anything that you need to take action on. It's just for your information. Or you can take these readings for the global collective, because everything that we're experiencing on our individual Sacred Union journeys, our ascension journeys, is also playing out in the global collective. And we can especially see that in the dynamics between masculine and feminine energies, or even male and females. So remember to look at it from all perspectives to get the most out of these readings. These readings are layered, so feel free to return to them as often as you need and see if there's additional messages that you might not have gotten the first time around. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into it. I just want to mention Alex Miles I follow her on Facebook and Instagram. She's fantastic when it comes to astrology, and so she's where I get most of what's going on astrologically. Anything that I don't pick up intuitively, because I'm not an astrologist, I get my information from her and from my personal astrologist. So she did a post about today, May 23rd. Remember, it's timeless. Take it as it resonates for you, when it resonates for you. But today, it's not just the full moon in Sagittarius. There is Venus conjunct Jupiter, Venus sextile Neptune, and Venus entering Gemini. Oh, happy Gemini. Happy Gemini season, everybody. That's what I wanted to do this reading. I wanted to do this reading for Gemini. Gemini is the sign of the twins. So I really wanted to do one for Gemini season as a whole. So that might be this reading. We'll see. But there is a lot that is happening clearly. So if you want to learn more astrologically, go ahead and check out Alex. But we'll also see what comes in that we channel. Whatever comes in that we channel will be additional information. So I'm going to use the moon cards to kind of set the foundation, set the stage. Just keeping an eye on my cat too. He just got back from the vet. He hasn't been feeling very well. Okay, so if I'm a little bit distracted, that's why. He's settling in. Okay, good. Okay, let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculines, please. What's going on for the Divine Masculines with this cosmic energy support focus? Oh, wow. I really like that card. I really like that energy for the Divine Masculines. What's going on for the Divine Feminines? We talked a lot about the Divine Feminines in the last Sacred Union energy update. So, especially with the consciousness shifts, sacred embodiment, and transformation you're experiencing. So, if you missed that, make sure that you're checking that out. Divine Feminines. What do we need to know for the Divine Feminines? What do we need to know for the Divine Feminines? The void. Haven't we been talking about that for the past couple of weeks? So, yeah, this energy is still here. I feel like we're coming out of this. But if the void energy resonates with you, and like we've been saying for the past couple of weeks, there's no lack there. If that's resonating with you, I really, really recommend checking out the past couple of Sacred Union energy updates. I will put the links in the description box, links of interest, so you guys have easy access to find all of the pertinent information. But yeah, if that's the energy that you've been feeling, check out those previous readings. Like I said, this energy is piggybacking off and expanding on those previous readings. So it's all valid. It's all gonna make sense. It's all part of the whole here. Okay, and the union energies. Release. Oh, okay. It's interesting. And look who's on the bottom of the deck, the masculine, making himself known. It's interesting. I haven't really been feeling a whole lot of counterpart energy, but as you move more and more, deeper into the embodiment of your inner union, it'll just feel like oneness. It won't feel so much like one or the other. You'll just naturally feel each other. Your counterpart will just naturally be present with you as like an organic thing as you're going about your life. On our journey, it was very difficult. And if you remember the beginning stage of your journey, it was very difficult because it felt like separate energy. It felt like there was a whole other person inside of you. It felt like, you could feel your counterpart so tangibly, and you can still feel your counterpart like that, but it's much more organic, it's much more natural. There's no separation anymore. You're not feeling that, oh, this is his and this is mine. It doesn't feel like that anymore. It just feels like this oneness. And where you had been so focused on the external, where you had been so focused on your counterpart in the past, your physical person, it's not, that energy isn't there anymore. You've brought that energy back to yourself. You're empowering yourself. Your counterpart is still very much present with you, guiding you, loving you, honoring you, helping you navigate your journey, and maybe through triggers, energetic or otherwise. If you're in communication, maybe you're triggering each other still, but it's a different level, it's a different energy. You've moved into that higher heart ascension that we talk about, and that higher heart ascension is the healed version. Now, you're always going to be healing layers. There's expansion, there's embodiment, there is ascension. Ascension is an ever unfolding process, but you move out of that dense energy that you were in the beginning stage of your ascension journey, when you were first activated, when there was friction, when there was triggers, when you were acting out of your unconscious state, right? So now what's happening is you're in that higher heart ascension where you're more conscious. And so you're acting more consciously, you are embodying new levels of consciousness, and you're applying that to your life and everything that you do. Maybe you're applying that to your relationship itself, your counterpart connection. Maybe you're applying that to business or work or career or passions or just other dynamics. You're applying that new level of consciousness, and that's what it is. You've reached a new level of consciousness, and once you've reached a new level of consciousness, there are new patterns that are being created, new pathways that are being created. You're releasing that old energy. And so what's happening is you are opening up to a new version of yourself. And there's, again, just like there's always healing, there's always an unfolding, there's always new layers of consciousness. New layers of conscious embodiment is the phrase that they're giving me. But like we always say, intellectual consciousness or intellectual enlightenment is very different from the embodiment of that enlightenment. And embodiment is what we're really focused on right now. The embodiment is what we're really anchoring into, that integration of everything that we've learned, everything that we know, so to speak, about this journey. So it's a very different energy than we were activated to. It's a very different energy that we're used to. With regards to our journey, but that's what the transformation is. That's what the journey is. That's what our ascension is. It's to bring us closer and closer home to ourselves. So we're going to start with the divine masculine here, and what I really love about this, it's this energy of, oh boy, there's just so much here. that butterfly on the third eye is that enlightenment that we've been channeling for months now, that opening up new perspectives, new visions, new understanding. And I like that she's kind of like half submerged here. But it's like she's coming up out of the waters. She's also encircled in this protective energy. So I do feel like there is this energy of protection around the divine masculine's inner union, is what I'm hearing. I feel like they're going through their ascension, or they have been going through their ascension, but I feel like they're going through the initial stages of their own inner union. Divine feminine, do you know what that's like? That anchoring in, that integration, the enlightenment, the awareness, the conscious opening, um, the balance. And that's what I mean. They're seeing things in a new light. They've been seeing you in a new light. I don't want to repeat readings from the past, but if you check out the links in the description box, the links of interest, this is what we've been talking about for the past couple of months. This new layer of illumination, this new conscious way of being, seeing things differently, seeing the connection differently, seeing you differently, divine feminines, because they're finally embracing themselves. They've been going through this purification process that is the ascension journey, and I feel like they are emerging now from that womb center, is what I'm hearing. It feels like a rebirth. They've been going through that rebirth. Remember, many weeks ago we did a channeling, I can't even remember when or what reading, but we did a channeling, a sacred union energy update, where I was shown the divine masculine in this cosmic womb, this cosmic egg energy. And I was brought the fact that they were going through a rebirth. And what I was seeing was, it was almost like it was like a child in a mother's womb. You know how the child in the womb is surrounded by like amniotic fluid to keep it sustained. Well, it was kind of like that, but there were light codes surrounding him. He was just kind of suspended in that energy, but there were light codes that he was being nourished by, new light codes, and that was part of his rebirth. I can't remember what reading that was, but that's what this feels like. It feels like over the past recent weeks, I don't even want to say several weeks, I want to say recent weeks, they've been breaking free. They've been going through that rebirth. They've been going through the corridor, going through the birth canal, so to speak, and now it's like they're reborn. Divine Feminines, you might have found that within yourself. I shared a little bit about my own personal experiences in the last reading, where I was going through a huge breakthrough, a huge consciousness shift. But what that consciousness shift was, it was a true sacred embodiment of everything I was intellectually understanding, everything I intellectually knew, but I was embodying it now. That's what the consciousness shift was. It was um, things that I understood consciously. Now I was able to feel it in my very being and claim that new energy. And so the old energy had to be released so I could really claim in my body, in my physical being, the new energy. And that new energy was, maybe it was having boundaries, maybe it was speaking up for myself, maybe it was claiming more love, claiming more of myself, claiming more of that authenticity. And I had a lot of different experiences over the past couple of days, just recently, that showed me that new version of myself. I'll share with you guys a quick anecdote. I went to the doctor's for a follow-up visit. I had a procedure a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the doctor for a follow-up visit, and the woman said that I owed a huge chunk of money. Because the insurance, I guess, didn't go through or didn't process. And I just said to her, I'm not paying that. It wasn't rude. It wasn't, I wasn't unkind. It wasn't in that energy at all. I mean, we had a very pleasant exchange. She was very confused why it didn't go through my insurance. I was very confused why didn't go through my insurance. And I just said, well, I'm not paying that. I said, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out why it didn't go through. I said, but I'm just not paying it. And there was something inside of me that knew that I wouldn't have to pay it. I was not claiming that energy. But for a second, I felt my body restrict because I remember when I was very sick, I basically lost everything. I was really struggling financially. Had a lot of financial insecurity because everything was going towards my health and medical bills. And so I felt that restriction in my body and my nervous system, all of a sudden feeling tense and activated and saying, oh my gosh, this is a big chunk of money that I'm going to have to pay. But immediately I felt peace within, and I calmed, and I said, you know what? It'll be fine. I'll be supported. I'll have resources. I'll figure out how to get the money if I need to. It'll be like, it'll work itself out. And by me saying, I'm not going to pay that, um, it was basically me announcing to the universe, hey, this is not what I prefer. Like, there's another solution here. Let's find it. And like I said, it was a really pleasant exchange with this woman. It wasn't like, I'm not going to pay. It wasn't like a resistance. It wasn't like an angry thing. It was just, I'm not paying that. And I know it. And so I got home and I called my insurance company, and he couldn't figure it out either. And finally, as I was about to get off the call, he's like, oh, wait a minute. He says, here it says that it's already been processed, but you don't know anything because the patient responsibility is zero. He said, so if you actually end up getting a bill, he's like, just call and we'll, settle a grievance or something. He said, but I don't think you're going to get anything. It's already been a month, he said, and it says that it's been processed and you don't know anything. And so I said to the universe, thank you for showing me my power, my creative power. Thank you for showing me my stability and my security within myself. Thank you for showing me, how far I have come. Because like I said, many years ago, different energy, different life, basically. That's what this feels like. This feels like a rebirth. This feels like a sacred embodiment. Divine Feminines, you have been in this energy of embodiment. Going back to the divine masculines, I feel like that is what they are beginning. They are beginning to recognize that embodiment. They are beginning to recognize their creative power. They're beginning to recognize their choices too. We've been talking about that for the past couple of readings, where they've been questioning themselves and saying, how did I get here? The choices that I made in my life, like looking around and almost like seeing for the first time how they were focused too much on material things, that they weren't prioritizing things that they really love or people that they love, or they were making poor choices for themselves, or they were in toxic energies, or they were surrounded in a negative environment, or whatever the situation was. Remember, this is a collective reading, but they were in this energy, or have been in this energy of looking around at their life and saying, this isn't actually what I want for myself. They're recognizing their creative power. They're not at the point of embodiment yet, but they're getting there. That's the next step. First comes illumination. Well, first comes illumination and awareness. Then comes a higher level consciousness shift. And then comes accountability. And then comes the embodiment, the integration and the embodiment. It's all part of a process that happens simultaneously, really. It's not like one thing to the other. It's just it's occurring simultaneously, and that's where I feel like they are. I feel like they are coming out of the abyss of themselves, seeing themselves really for the first time. And when I say seeing themselves for the first time, it's this energy of recognizing themselves for who they are, not for who they thought they had to be. For some reason, they're bringing me Bridgerton. Okay, so this might only resonate for those of you who watch Bridgerton. Um, but there's this character named Colin, and he's one of the family's brothers and main character, especially for the third season. And he goes off to find himself. Last season, he goes on some travels, and when he comes back, he's basically a rake. This is a Regency era TV show, so he's basically a rake, which is like a player, I guess, in our modern times. And what happens is he's not really being himself, and he knows it, but he's still kind of trying to find himself. And actually, what's interesting is it's a best friends to lovers trope. So Penelope is one of his dearest friends, oldest friends, and she sees through him. She sees, that he is not basically who he always has been. Why is he acting, in this way? And it's because he's trying to find himself. It's because he's trying to recognize his authentic self. But he's kind of going about it in a wrong way. And it's only by recognizing that he actually loves Penelope, and that she's always seen him at the core of who he is, that he's able to really recognize and see himself. And I feel like that's what the divine masculine is going through on some level. It's like really seeing who they've been pretending to be, but it's not pretending to be. It's just an old version of them. It's an old version of them that fit who they were, who they thought they were, who they thought they needed to be. And there were certain layers and levels of authenticity. There were certain layers and levels of who they really are, but there were still some masks. There was still some um, feeling lost. Now they're coming out of that energy and really embracing who they want to be, really embracing who they are on the soul level. And that's what our ascension journey teaches us. That's what our ascension journey shows us. It's our journey home to ourselves. And so that's what I feel like this energy is. I feel like there's this transformation that's going on, but it's not necessarily an external transformation. That's going to come on the heels of this, because the masculine is very active. They make changes. They are very focused in the material world, so they'll change maybe their career, find more financial stability, maybe end relationships or begin healthy relationships, or I should say end toxic relationships, begin healthy relationships, or heal or mend relationships, depending on, again, what the specific scenario is. But they'll make those physical changes in their life because the masculine energy, again, is very active. And that's what they do. Just like you've done, Divine Feminine, you've done that on your journey as well. So you can see yourself reflected in the Divine Masculine too. Don't forget, this is your inner masculine as well. So you might have gone through this previously. But this is really about a new way of seeing yourself, a new way of consciously evolving, a new way of being, really. And so I feel like they are, it's almost like she's sleeping, but I feel like she's awakening, or the divine masculine, I should say, is awakening to really who they are and who they want to be and what they want in their life. And this is all protected. There's a huge energy of protection around divine counterparts right now, sacred partners, and that is because it is union time. And when I say union time, I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, like they're going to come back and we're going to get married and all of that. When I talk about union, that could be part of it. That could be the 3D aspect of it. But when I talk about union, I'm talking about the balance. I'm talking about the peace. I'm talking about the growth. I'm talking about the ascension. And that is what creates our physical reality. That's what creates physical conscious partnership. That's what creates a romantic relationships. That's what creates, whatever it is that you want in your physical life. But you can't get too far ahead of yourself. It's a process, and it comes from the shift in the energy first. So when I'm talking about union, I'm talking about the energy shifts. I'm talking about the ascension first. I'm talking about the inner union that creates the conscious relationship in your physical union, your outer union. So I feel like divine masculine is they might also, with the focus word here, they might also be focused on themselves. There's a little bit of a hermit energy, a withdrawn energy, but it doesn't feel withdrawn as in numbing out, doesn't feel like they're in a void. It just feels like they are self-focused. Again, I really encourage you, especially if you're new here, or if you just want to recap, I really encourage you guys to check out the last couple of readings, because we dive deeper into this energy of what the divine masculine is going through. All right, over here in the Divine Feminine, again, this is piggybacking off of the previous readings, where you might have felt like you were in a void, but that void, you weren't lacking anything. You were just going through an upgrade. You were going through a transformation, and you needed to kind of shut down a little bit in order to upgrade. And I gave the analogy of it's like a computer. You know how we get really frustrated because we're in the middle and of something, and all of a sudden our computer's like, oh, it's time to upgrade. And you can't do anything because the only thing that's on your screen is the upgrade bar, 25%, 28%, 30%, 35%. And all you can do is just sit there and twiddle your thumbs. But there's still stuff that's running in the background, right? It's upgrading in the background. That's what this is. It's like you're being called to stillness. You're being called to just be. Maybe not even actively do anything. You're being called to rest. What is it that my chiropractor said? He said, he said, sleep is the integration of information of life. And that's why we're called to sleep. That's why we're called to rest, because we're integrating all the information, all of the energy that we've experienced. And that's part of the upgrade too, right? The upgrade is the integration. So you might feel like you need to rest more, you might feel like you need to sleep more, but even in sleep you're active, right? Your consciousness is active. There's a lot that's going on energetically. There's a lot of activations that are happening. So you're going through an upgrade. Now, I'm feeling you might be there now. It might be timelines might be a little bit, I don't want to say skewed, but people might be at different points in the journey. People might be at different timelines right now. I feel like this is coming out of the void in this energy that I'm picking up on now. So you might still be in it, you might be beginning it, but the energy that I'm picking up on now, if you're still in it, this is, what's to come, what you might expect. I feel like you're coming out of the void. You might have had a recent consciousness shift, like I have. You might have had a breakthrough. You're still going to be integrating that energy, but you're coming out of the void. You might feel more productive. I'm hearing psychic gifts might be at a higher level. As part of this upgrade, you might be more energetically activated, by which I mean you might feel things more intuitively. You might feel more attuned to the energies. So you're coming out of the void, and it feels, I'm hearing the word healthy. I feel like when you're in the void, you might have just kind of been focused on nurturing yourself. And now you're coming out of the void, and it's like getting back into healthy routines, healthy habits, etc. Um, and not to say that nurturing yourself isn't healthy, but you might have been called to sleep more. You might have been called to just kind of step back from everything. You might have been called, depending on the foods. I know when I was experiencing some root chakra stuff, I was called to eat red fruits like red peppers and watermelon and stuff like that. And even ice cream. Like I was nurturing myself with my inner child wanted ice cream. At one point, she wanted cake. So I just said, okay, let's just indulge. But you're getting back to healthier habits. You're getting back to almost like where you were as a reset, but it's a different level. It's a higher level. It's a new embodied consciousness now. So you're stepping out of the void again, and it's interesting. It's just pointing me to the number here. It's a one. So yeah, it definitely feels like a reset. It feels like a beginning. But the reset doesn't mean that everything is wiped clean. The reset means like you're at the next level. That's what it feels like. Like you're reaching the next level and just really embodying that new level of consciousness. We're gonna get more on that in a minute with the tarot. But let's see what's going on with the union energies. Interesting, when this came out, what I felt was both counterparts. Remember I talked about that oneness that you're experiencing, that inner union. It's more organic. It's not separate. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is my DM. Oh my gosh, this is my DF. No, it's oneness. It's more organic. There is no separation. Your counterpart, like you'll still feel your counterpart, but he or she feels like part of you now. Um, they feel like they're always present, but not in a way that's distracting, not in a way that's obsessive, just in a way that feels very natural and just very fluid and very loving. Very loving. um Surprisingly loving, even depending on what you've been through with your counterpart and in your relationship. It's just really, really fluid, really stable, really secure. You're anchoring into that security within your connection. And what might be happening is you are releasing any of that past energy. Both of you are experiencing the release of the past energy. You have all these butterflies here indicating that transformation as well. I'm not going to go deeply into this because we talked about that in the past Sacred Union Energy update, especially my personal share. So, don't miss the beginning of that reading because the personal share might be what you're experiencing now, and that might help you navigate this. We talked about how you might be experiencing a little bit of a split energy like you did before your inner union, before that feeling of oneness, like you did in the beginning of your journey, and it might make you feel a little bit chaotic because you're not used to it anymore. But that split energy is just the old that is releasing, and it's like you can't go back. I was just saying to a friend, like anytime I try to be angry at my counterpart over the past, or if I try to bring up a past situation with my counterpart, it just feels like peace. Like in my mind, I mean, it just feels like peace. And so now when I'm imagining, connection, or when I'm tuning in telepathically, it just feels like peace and love. And I'm claiming that because that's all we ever want, is that peace, that love within the connection. And it's just our karma, our triggers, our projections, our past pain, even past pain that's experienced together with your counterpart that comes up, your history with your counterpart that comes up. And your ego forms a protective layer trying to say, oh, but remember when this happened? Remember when your counterpart said this? Remember when your counterpart did this? But there has been an energy of forgiveness over the past several months that Divine Feminine has been integrating. And there is an energy of, again, new version of yourself, so that you are not available for anything that isn't love, whether that's your counterpart or whether that's any relationship. You're not available for anything that isn't love. Your energy will not allow it. Your energy will now repel it, so that even if you try to draw it up in your imagination, it's like there's a block there. It's not bypassing, it's not negating, it's not invalidating anything that was experienced. The memories are still there, but you've unhooked from the energy, the fear, the pain, the trauma, the whatever it was, is not there, is not active anymore in your energy system. And so that's where you're entering a new cycle, is because that energy is not available anymore. It's not active in your system, so it's not available for you to experience in your physical reality. And if it tries to come into your physical reality, then you have the tools and the resources and the empowerment to release that too. Or it just won't be in your physical reality at all. Sometimes stuff comes up just to show you how far you've come, to show you the contrast of what you're no longer available for, or what's no longer in your energy field. It'll come up as contrast, but that might just be an initiation. That might just be a test. You are claiming love. You are claiming peace. You are claiming being cherished and honored now, supported, respected. I'm speaking especially to the Divine Feminines, because this has been really challenging for her journey. But Divine Masculines, this is for you too. You are claiming healthy connection where you are used to toxic connections, especially you, Divine Masculine. You have been used to toxic connections. Maybe you have been toxic energy within yourself, that was being reflected in the connections around you. But you're clearing that energy, Divine Masculines, so that you're only inviting in healthy connection, healthy love. And what I'm seeing are the twin flames coming together and uniting in that health, in that consciousness, in that love. Remember who you were when you and your partner first met. That is the unconditional love that has always existed underneath the surface. That is the unconditional love of who you truly are. It's just your own traumas and projections and pains and karma that came up between you two. But it was never about the two of you. You were just triggering that within each other. You were shining light on the shadows within you that was already housed within you when you met. And so what happens is you bring it up to the surface, but it was never truly one or the other that was doing it to each other. It was just being reflected. And so you might have actually acted out and perpetuated new karmic cycles with each other, but that's what you've had to clear too. And so that too is what you're releasing. That's what I'm talking about with these union energies coming together in the energy of love. Remember who you were, remember who you are to each other. It is just pure love. Okay, so let's get some tarot and go a little bit deeper into what's going on for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. I want to see how the Divine Masculine is viewing the connection right now. I'm getting drawn to this deck. Okay, we're going to switch decks for a minute. All right, let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. very excited for June 3rd. I hope you guys will join me for the Kickstarter launch of my new book, The Unity Code, that goes really deep into these teachings about twin flames, oneness, and unity consciousness. You can take the book for your own inner journey or for understanding the journey with your counterpart. But it is basically these 7 years of channeling poured into one book. I am so excited to share it. Make sure you're staying tuned to my social media as well. So I'm giving sneak peeks and what the Kickstarter is all about and how it works and all that, and then lead up to June 3rd. Make sure that you're following the Kickstarter too so that you don't miss anything, because we're doing some special features for those who are joining immediately. So make sure that you are not missing out on anything. And the website is theunitycodebook.com, or you can navigate there through my website. All right, what's going on for the Divine Masculine? How is he feeling about the connection right now? How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? Six of Wands. Feeling kind of Six of Cups energy there too. Interesting. Feels pretty nostalgic. How is the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? Oh, okay. How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? Yeah. Okay. We have the Six of Wands, we have the Knight of Wands, we have the Page of Pentacles. They're moving into a more active energy where they are making decisions about the steps that they want to take. And we began to end the reading from two readings ago with that, where it was like they're wanting to take action, they're wanting to make changes in their life, but they're not sure what to do yet. I feel like this is the beginning. Again, these readings are piggybacking off of each other. Remember, it's a process. So it's not like one day, one reading, it's going to be, oh yeah, they're ready to take action, so they're going to change their whole life. Changing your life is a process. Up-leveling your life is a process. Creating for your life is a process. It takes patience. But there's a determination that's coming in here. They're ready for it, whether that's financial stability, whether that's healing and mending relationships, ending relationships, beginning relationships, whether that is new jobs, whether that is moves, whatever that is, whatever that specific scenario is, there is a physical, tangible change that they are not just making a decision on cerebrally, but they are ready to take action on it. I feel what I'm actually seeing is somebody sitting down with a sheet of paper and like making a plan, writing out a plan. They might be journaling, like, this is what I want for my life. These are the steps that I need to take to get that, to do it, to make the changes in my life. It's like almost like they're writing out like a life plan. What do I want? What do I need to do to get to that? What steps do I need to take? It's a really interesting energy here. The Six of Wands, I like that we're beginning with this because, and I think the Six of Wands came out in one of the previous readings too. So again, piggybacking. The Six of Wands is an indication of victory and success over conflict. And this was a conflict within themselves. They might have felt like they were in conflict with other people. They might have even felt like they were in conflict with you, Divine Feminines, or competition with you, Divine Feminines. But now they're beginning to realize that they're not. That they were only in conflict with themselves. That they were battling themselves. And this is a victory over that. There's a sense of pride. There's a sense, and not egoic pride, but self-pride, self-worth. They're recognizing their sacredness. They're recognizing that they're worthy. They're worthy of having the life that they want. They're worthy of having the connection that they want with you. They're worthy. They're beginning to really understand that and beginning to put things into practice, beginning to put things into place and take action on those insights that they're having. Many years ago, I don't even know when, months ago, we've talked about how the divine feminine aspect within the divine masculine has to be healed. Or I should say the distorted feminine aspect within the divine masculine has to be healed. Only when that aspect is healed will the masculine rise into their divineness, into their divinity, into their consciousness, to become the emperor, to become the divine masculine. The feminine has to rise first. It has to be healed first, right? So you see that within the connection as a whole. The divine feminine leads in that she goes through her ascension first, she heals first, she shifts first, and then the masculine follows. Well, that happens within your inner self as well. It happens within you, divine feminine, where you were healing your inner feminine and then you had to anchor into your inner masculine and heal that safety, security, presence, stability, the divine masculine aspect within you. Well, the same thing goes for your counterpart, your physical person. It happens within them too. They have to heal the feminine within them in order to anchor into their divinity, in order to anchor into their conscious masculine self, and for that masculine energy to rise. And so, what's happening is they're trusting their intuition now. That's part of that illumination. That's part of that that butterfly over the third eye. It's like they're getting that insight. They're getting that intuition, beginning to trust that intuition. And we talked too about how they're beginning to trust you, divine feminine, and seeing you in a new light. Seeing you were reflecting the shadows to them, and that's why they rejected you. That's why they pushed you away on one level, on one layer. I go into all the levels and layers in my book. It's a very multifaceted journey. So, on one level, they were rejecting you and pushing you away because of your ascension, what you were going through. They were reflecting you, but you're also reflecting them. So, you were showing them their shadows and they were not ready to face that, or they were repelling that, or resistant to that. But now what's happening is they're having their ascension, they're having their illumination, they're having their transformation, and they're seeing you in a new light and saying, oh, this divine feminine was love, unconditional love. I hadn't experienced that before. Because they hadn't experienced that before, this is another layer. Because they hadn't experienced that before, again, they pushed it away. It was something that was foreign to them. They were so used to conditions. They were so used to toxic energy. They were so used to the distorted feminine. They were not used to your love. They were not used to your light. They were not used to you and this connection. That's why, again, they push the connection away. One of the many reasons. But now they're beginning to trust you and see how you brought so much goodness to their life, how you brought so much healing, how you brought so much magic and beauty, and how you had a wisdom and an intuition. And now they're beginning to honor and trust that within themselves. So they're beginning to honor and trust that within you. Or I should say, you will see that reflected in how they now honor and trust you. But it's because they're beginning to really honor and trust themselves. This masculine did not trust themselves. They second guessed themselves. They were very caught up in their thoughts. They were caught up in their own doubts. They might have felt, I should do this, but then they second guessed themselves and pulled back. It was a huge battle within their own mind, within their own self. But now what's happening is they are getting that idea, that passion, that inspiration, that nudge from their intuition, and they're trusting that, they're honoring that, and they're taking action on that. It's a very very different energy for this divine masculine. It's a very beautiful energy. How else are they feeling about the connection or their ascension? What's going on with their connection or their ascension? How are they feeling? Yep. Two messages with this hanged man energy. This hanged man energy is actually 3 messages. Surrender, allowing for the surrender versus the resistance, which is a huge shift. That's also this hanged man energy is a shift in perspective, a shift in themselves, a shift in their energy. However, there might be a slight pause. That's that hermit kind of energy, that withdrawal kind of energy. It's not they're not stuck in that hermit energy. It just feels like they're going through an internal process and processing it. Like it's you're mirroring each other in like this void like energy. But it's part of the process. It's an internal activation and internal, almost like self-study is the phrase that I'm getting. So they're looking within themselves. That's part of this hanged man energy too. So they're ready to take action. They're wanting to take action. Again, it's like they're writing out the plan, but they're still in kind of a state of suspension. It's like they're on the verge of taking action, not quite ready to pull the trigger. I don't even want to say that, because I feel like some of them are in small steps. But it's going to be a build up. It's going to be like a building block. It's going to be step by step by step. So I feel like writing out the plan is like the first step, whether they're doing that energetically or not. Like that's a metaphor. But they're planning. They're planning in their hearts, they're planning in their minds, like, what's the next step that I need? What is it that I need to do? How, like, if it's, financial stability, what is the new job that I need to look for? Or what is, I can't even think of anything, but you know what I mean? It's like the next step. So, this state of suspension isn't like they're stuck. It's just gearing up. Gearing up. That's what it feels like, gearing up. And a lot of it is because they're still going through this activation, this transformation. They're still in this kind of sacred bubble right here. But it doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. I definitely feel like they're at the beginning stages of a physical shift, creating some kind of physical changes in their life, or at the very least wanting physical changes in their life. Yeah, exactly, the Chariot. And look at the two major arcanas here side by side. They have clarity. Ace of Swords, they are ready for this movement because they've gone through this ascension, gone through this transformation. They've been healing this heartbreak. They feel you being stable, Divine Feminine. They want that stability within themselves. They might even actually, I'm feeling this is their own inner feminine, feeling that stability and security within their own inner feminine, which is what is leading them to this, the Chariot, taking charge of their life. Again, we talked about looking at the choices that they made, what brought them, looking at their life with clarity. Oh my gosh, where am I? It's like they're waking up to their life, what their life actually looks like versus what they want it to be. And now they're making those choices. Now they're recognizing them and only them can make those decisions, can make those choices to change their life. And that comes from an internal energy, not anything else. Getting drawn to, I think is that Pisces? Interesting. There's a zodiac sign here, and I think it's Pisces, which is very interesting because that is, it's water energy, which is interesting. I don't know why I'm drawn to that. It could be that there is Pisces energy surrounding the connection. I'm just getting drawn to the fact that Pisces is like the end of the zodiac, where there's a lot of wisdom gained. It's almost like what I'm seeing is like if you think of the zodiac as almost like the major arcana in tarot, if you see it as a fool's journey, the Aries energy is the beginning. It's the new energy. The Pisces energy is the end of the zodiac, in Western astrology at the very least. And you've gained all this wisdom. You have all this knowledge. Pisces energy is very intuitive as well. So it's almost like that. Like it's like being directed by their intuition now versus any external factors. They're recognizing that it comes from within versus trying to control their environment or trying to control their people or trying to control anything. They're recognizing that it comes from their own self. It comes from their own taking charge, from their own leadership of the self, not leadership or control over anybody else. Interesting energy. What's going on for the Divine Feminines? Yeah, let's continue with this deck. What's going on for the Divine Feminines right now? Nope, I'm going to switch. We're going to switch. What's going on for the Divine Feminines? Divine Feminines. You have the Five of Swords. Divine Feminines, you just fought a really difficult battle. Yeah, you were in conflict with yourself, and that's what I was talking about with that dueling energy, that split energy. The way I experienced is it felt like old anxieties and fears and grief coming up to the surface. I literally felt like I was out of my mind because underneath I felt so much peace, and I felt anchored into that peace. Like that's the new version of who I've become over the past couple of years. And I was like, what the hell am I experiencing? Why is this old energy here? Not only that, but why do I feel like there's two people inside of me? It was very strange. And not like two personalities, but like two energies. I want to be very clear. And it was like, that's because it was old energy that was clearing, old energy that was releasing, so that the peace can firmly anchor in, so that the new energy can firmly be embodied. And again, I'm going through a process of new consciousness embodiment, where I'm really claiming this next version of myself. Really claiming just healthier boundaries, really claiming personal empowerment, really claiming, self-assertion, just everything I've been working on within myself, claiming that within myself. And what's interesting to me is I can really see that, this channel has been an evolution of my own spiritual journey. And when I watch these readings back or listen to these readings back, which I do as I'm uploading them, because I don't remember what I'm saying when I'm channeling, so I watch it back for my own journey as well. I can see the stark difference between when I first started my journey and now. The energy is just so different, and it's inspiring, and it's awesome. I don't know how to say it. It's like all inspiring. Um, because that's what this journey does. It transforms you. And at the beginning of your journey, it's like you can't even imagine the amount of transformation or who you're going to become. When I was going through my journey with Lyme disease and everything and how I transformed with that, I became bolder, I became stronger, I became more courageous than I ever thought possible. And I said, wow, like, I can't believe who I am now. And I didn't think that I could change anymore. But little did I know, here comes ascension, and here comes my counterpart catalyzing me to that journey. And I grew and expanded and evolved even more. And it became even more myself than I've ever been, more comfortable and loving of myself than I've ever been, more secure in myself than I've ever been. And I never thought that was possible. I thought I had reached like the pinnacle of it. But it just gets deeper and deeper, and more beautiful, more beautiful. But sometimes it takes a lot to get there, right? It's like we're in conflict with ourselves. So that's what this energy feels like. It feels like when I was experiencing that kind of split energy, but it's just the old that's releasing. So don't resist it. Don't resist the transformation. Don't resist the release. If it's uncomfortable, sit in that discomfort. A process with soul family if you need, or counselors or therapists or mentors or whatever, as you need. If it's too much, make sure that you're grounding your energy. Spend some time outside, because the earth is going to really support you in this, to ground that energy so that it doesn't feel so scary. And I don't want you to feel any fear. It's not scary. It made me feel crazy, but I was laughing about it with a friend, because it was just it was just it just felt so strange. That's what it felt like. It felt strange and chaotic, but the peace underneath was the new normal, was the new anchored energy. But it felt like this. It felt like this conflict, this chaos energy. So don't fear it. You will break through it. Yep, don't judge yourself. Don't judge it. You're just breaking through to a new level. You're breaking through to a new level of love. You're breaking through to a new version of yourself. You're breaking through to even new, again, this energy of like creations, these new ideas maybe, but it's creation, this new creative energy within yourself. Maybe manifestations, opportunities, things like that. Again, new ideas, new passions, something like that. You're breaking through to new. This judgment card is always for me a rebirth energy. It's a call to rise. You're being called to rise into the next level, being called to rise into the next version. So if you're in this energy, this chaos, this conflict, if you're feeling what I shared in the recent energy update, or even a little bit what I shared today, is because you're going through a transformation and breaking through to a new version. Be patient with yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Do not judge what it is that you're going through. Do not judge your emotions. Do not judge yourself. Do not judge your transformation. You're transforming. You're going through a metamorphosis. But again, seek support if you need that support. If you're having trouble holding space for yourself, seek support from soul family or mentors or whatever, to be able to hold that space for you. Okay, but you will break through this. How are you feeling about the connection? Is there anything that we need to know about the connection? How are you feeling about the connection, Divine Feminines? Page of Swords. And the Two of Swords. Some of you might want to communicate with your counterpart or feel a lot of activated telepathy with your counterpart. You might be feeling your counterpart wanting to communicate with you, and so you might be a little bit indecisive as far as should you reach out, should you communicate. I would always recommend sitting with that energy first. Always trust your intuition. Always trust where you yourself are guided. But if you're having trouble discerning, is it ego or is it intuition? Sit with the energy first. If you want to draft an email, draft a text, journal what you would want to say if you spoke to them or called them, and see if the energy shifts, if the energy clears, see if the energy calms, especially if it feels very active. If it feels very active, it's usually ego. You might be feeling pulled from your divine masculine, but tune into the peace. Whatever feels peaceful, that's where you're guided. Make sure that you're following the peace, what feels right for you. But allow yourself some time. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to rush to communication. Give yourself some time to discern how it is that you feel. Like, give yourself a couple hours, give yourself a couple days to discern how you feel. And if you still feel that pull, then allow yourself to go where you're guided. I shared a couple of months ago how I was called to go physically see my counterpart. It was the first time we'd seen each other in a year or so. And even though he lives like literally down the road, and my ego was the one that was saying, no, go home, go home, go home, go home. But I literally could not drive myself home because my heart kept pulling me there. And there was a purpose for it. There was a reason for it. There was more activations. There was more tower moments. There was more healing. There was more peace. There was love. And that created more activations. That created more triggers to be brought to the surface. But I trusted my intuition, and that's when God said, life is messy. Let life be messy sometimes, Susan. You're not prepared to see him, and that's a good thing. Just let your heart guide you. So discern, just use your discernment. I drove around for like a half hour to an hour before I finally was like, okay, so this is really my heart. This is really my intuition versus my ego, because my ego was the one that wanted to go home. So trust your intuition is what I'm saying. Trust yourself, trust your intuition. Especially if you feel like it's your counterpart that's trying to pull you. You don't have to answer that. You can tune into your own energy. You can even respond telepathically. You can even respond just through journaling, through your own writing. Because remember, these connections are spiritual connections too. So you might be having trouble making decisions as far as what action to take. Trust your intuition here. Okay? All right. All right, let's go a little bit deeper and see how you are feeling about each other. We haven't done this in a while. It's because there's been a lot of metamorphosis and transformation energy. That's why we haven't really gone deep into like, how are you feeling and stuff like that. It's because it's not about that. It hasn't been about that. It's been about you going through your own transformation, your masculine going through their own transformation. Remember that even though it's an individual process, I share this in my book too. It's a circle. You're on the same circle, like you're on the same path. It just might look like you're at two different points, right? But you're still on the same line of the circle. You just might go through an individual process, and that's okay. You're always in union. Don't forget that. You're always in union. It's just the illusion of separation that you're clearing. So, and that's what's bringing you closer to union in the physical is you're remembering that there is no separation. You're always in union. And so even if you look like you're not talking, even if it looks like you're not communicating, even if it looks like you are going through your own individual ascension processes, you're still energetically doing this together at the highest level. Okay? So don't forget that either. Okay. How is the divine masculine viewing the divine feminine right now? Let's ask that question. Oh, family. I feel like this divine masculine sees you as part of themselves. I feel like they don't see you as separate from themselves. I'm not talking energetically. I mean like you're part of their life. or they want you as part of their life. This masculine sees you as their family, and it could be a physical family if you are in a relationship with them or married to them, or it could be soul family. They see you as part of them, as part of their family, as part of their heart. It's a really beautiful energy. This very much feels like they are recognizing you. They are recognizing that you've always been part of their life in some way, even if you just met, even if you never knew each other before. There's that soul recognition. Soul recognition goes beyond lifetimes, goes beyond the physical. I feel like this masculine really is recognizing that you're part of their family, and I'm also hearing where they might have denied that in the past. I feel like they don't want to deny that anymore. It's really beautiful energy. How is the divine feminine feeling the divine masculine? Or let me get that right. How's the divine feminine viewing the divine masculine right now? How's the divine feminine viewing the divine masculine right now? Let's just clear the energy a minute. How's the divine feminine viewing the divine masculine? Okay, that feels better. How's the divine feminine viewing the divine masculine? It's interesting. What I'm hearing with the patients, you see how there's the hourglass here? I'm hearing like tick, 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 like almost like you're getting a little bit impatient, divine feminine, and you might be viewing the connection, you might be viewing your masculine as this sense of rejection. You might be feeling rejected from the masculine in some sense. I feel like that might only resonate with some of you. It depends on where you are. Um, but I feel like there's this energy of so much time has gone by. What is the connection going to be? What is the connection really? Like, you might be questioning the connection, you might be questioning your counterpart, and it's not a place of lacking in belief or lacking in faith. It's just this energy of so much time has gone by. How can this come together again? That's what this feels like. It's like this. Okay, so I'm getting two messages. Let me try to put it into context. The one message, like I said, it's only for some of you. It's this energy of feeling rejected from your masculine because so much time has gone by, that there's this almost like irreconcilable differences because there's so much time. And I feel like this is for those of you who are in no contact and have been in no contact for a while. And I'm talking like years, a while. So you might be feeling that there's irreconcilable differences and you have no idea how it's going to come together. So you might be feeling that like tick, 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 this like lack of patience there. But it also feels like there's this level of acceptance that's coming through, almost like, yeah, so much time has passed. I just don't see how it's going to come together. So there's some of you who are viewing the connection in that respect. The other energy that I'm getting is I feel like, again, time has passed, that you're questioning how is this going to come together, but there's those of you who are in this energy of faith, those of you who are in this energy of belief, those of you who are in this energy of, okay, we are experiencing this energy of separation, we've experienced differences, but it's like time is going to heal this. So it's a very stark difference between the two groups. And I would say try to examine that, try to explore that, especially if you're in the first group, where you are in this energy of just kind of giving up. That's actually a good energy to be in. It's not a bad one. It just means you're detached from the outcome, from the expectation. But just make sure that you're not guarding your heart. Make sure that you're not closed down to the connection. Make sure that you're not closed down to yourself. So allow yourself to explore that a little bit. What are the fears there? What are the triggers there for you? Keep exploring, keep going deeper with that. For the second group, I feel like you're in this energy of anticipation. Again, that's the time, the clock ticking. It's like you're in this energy of anticipation, and you feel like time is kind of like moving, and it's like, when is this going to happen? That's the anticipation, like, when is this going to happen? Some of you might feel like time is running out. That might be more with the first group. You might feel like time is running out, like there's, how are we ever going to reconcile? How is this ever going to happen? But remember that time is fluid. Remember that this is a process. Remember that ascension is constantly unfolding. So if you're trying to put a timeline to it, explore that. Look at that. Why are you attaching a timeline to it? What is that actually showing you? What is the timeline? What does the timeline say? Look at the time wound itself. What is it that you're trying to affix to it? That could be something that you can explore as far as anything to shift within yourself, any belief that you have around time. But again, there's this energy of, I feel like there's this anticipation, but for the second group, I feel like you are in this energy of patience. You're in this energy of, yeah, time, it's been a long time, or time is unfolding, or how do I say this? The journey is unfolding, and there might have been some differences between you, but it's like you feel this coming together. You feel this coming together, and it's only a matter of time. So, a lot of different messages. Remember, this is a collective reading, so there's a lot of different messages and a lot of different segments depending on where you are. Leave me a comment and let me know which one that's resonating with you. I'm curious to see where everybody is in the journey and what you might be experiencing. Don't judge what you're experiencing either. Whatever you're feeling is valid, but allow yourself to explore what it is that you're feeling, especially if there are triggers attached to it. Don't be afraid to explore that, to see if there are any beliefs that you can shift, or concepts that you can shift around that. But for the majority, I feel like it's this energy of, okay, I can feel this anticipation of coming together. I don't know how it's going to happen because there have been differences. There has been this sense of separation between us. And you have had patience. You have been holding space. You have been in this energy of faith, and knowing it's going to come together, and you can feel the energy ramping up, which is interesting too. And yeah, we have the card chemistry at the bottom of the deck, which just kind of solidifies that message for me of, like, you can feel this. You can feel the anticipation. I'm hearing the fusion of energies. You can feel the coming together. It might not look like it on the surface, but that's where you're having patience, allowing it to unfold. You might be a little bit in like an excited energy and anticipation energy because you can feel it. You're not sure how it's coming together, but you can feel it. So interesting. Let's see with the romance angels how you might be feeling towards each other. Oh, this is longer than I expected. That's okay. It's been a while, right? All right. How are you feeling? How's the divine masculine feeling towards the feminine? How's the divine masculine? One card, please. How's the divine masculine feeling towards the feminine right now, please? How's the divine masculine feeling towards the feminine? Attraction. Yeah. I did see one of the cards that flipped out. The one on the bottom was finances and career. And that confirms the focus on the material, right? That confirms wanting to make a shift in their material world, in their life, right? Making a plan. So I feel like that also has to do with the divine feminine, where they are, wanting to be the best version of themselves. You challenge them to be the best version of themselves, divine feminine, by shining a light on their shadows so that they can heal, so that they can grow, so that they can evolve, because you've always seen the best version of them. It's not about potential, it's about seeing the soul of them. And they're beginning to see the soul of themselves, and so they're beginning to want better for themselves. And divine feminines, the masculines, this attraction card, you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. I feel like it's like they're attracted to you. It could be romantic, it could be sexual, all that, but I'm feeling most, along with that finances material message, I feel like it's they're attracted to your essence. They're attracted to your soul. They're attracted to you believing in them. They're attracted to your support of them. And not in a toxic way, not where they are like draining your energy and grabbing onto your energy and pulling your energy down. That's all the toxic energy of the past, right? That's all the distorted masculine. This is the divine masculine, where they are attracted to you because they're beginning to see that within themselves, not repelling you, not pushing you away, but wanting to come towards you, wanting to magnetize you, and wanting you to be magnetized towards them. They're wanting companionship. They're wanting partnership. They're wanting connection with you because you see the soul of them and they're finally beginning to see the soul of themselves. Really interesting energy. Divine Feminine, how are you feeling towards the masculine? Healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. I'm not getting that. I'm getting the healing energy, just healing. And remember we talked about family, how the divine masculine feels the divine feminine is family. There might be some familial healing that's happening here. Maybe not with like blood family, but with each other. Healing the connection is what this feels like. Healing the soul family connection, the soul bond that you have with each other. There could be other ties around this, is what I'm hearing, because your relationship has ripple effects. So as you heal, other people heal. So there could be that as you are healing within yourself, you're healing with your counterpart. You might be healing your family. You might be healing their family lines together. But this really feels like it's healing each other, like you're healing the connection with each other. You are each other's family. You are each other, right? That's what the soul bond is. That's what the soul connection is. You are each other. So you're healing that energy together. Really interesting. Really interesting. I haven't gotten that message before. All right, we are, my goodness, at over an hour, but we are going to end with messages to each other. This is my conversations with the counterparts deck. What does the masculine want to say to the feminine? What does the masculine want to say to the feminine? Please accept me as I am in this moment. Yeah. I feel like release pressure, divine feminine, on who you think they need to be and just allow yourself to receive and accept who they are. And it doesn't mean the human self, you know, it means tune into the energy, tune into their higher self. You don't have to have communication or engage in their human self, especially if they are behaving a certain way or if they're still in toxic energy in their human self. But you can see the soul self. You can love the soul self and disengage from the human. That's, you know, that's fair. I feel like this is also saying that they're going through this transformation. So please love me through this transformation. Again, doesn't have to be engaging in the human self as you go through this transformation. Allow them to go through that process. But it could be that just love them unconditionally. Love them as their higher self. Love their soul self. You know, love them energetically. Hold a space for them energetically as they're going through this process. Divine feminine, what do you want to say to the masculine? You're so beautiful. I need time to heal from past pain. Yeah, that's this void energy. You're healing. You're closing that chapter on the past. You're healing the past. And so you're beginning to see the divine masculine too in a new light. Remember I said that it's like I can't call back that old version. My whole energy will just repel that old version of him, of me, of us. That's this energy here. You're seeing them. You're seeing the transformation that they're going through. You're seeing the metamorphosis that they're going through because you've gone through that yourself. You've gone through that healing yourself, and you're honoring them. It's like you're responding to them, saying, "Please accept me as I am." Yes, I do, and you're beautiful. You're beautiful. I'm still healing from the past. I'm still going through my own transformation, but I honor your transformation too. I see your transformation too. Wow. Bottom of the deck, Union Energies. Your light is leading me home. All right, we are going to end there. Please do leave a comment. Let me know how this resonates for you, and make sure that you sign up for the Kickstarter so that you are, or at least following the Kickstarter, so that you are ready to go on June 3rd when we launch. I'm so excited to share that with you. Make sure that you're following me on all my social media platforms and my newsletter at susandonspiritual.com so that you have everything you need to know about what is to come with the book. Send you lots and lots of love, and we'll see you next week.